last time. All right. Hey, everybody. Happy Halloween. As promised in our invite, Chris and I are both decked out in Halloween costumes. I am a Triceratops. I'm not quite sure what Chris is, but it looks pretty scary with that background there. So we thought we'd turn up the creativity a little bit for today's webinar, since it is on Halloween. So thanks so much for joining, everyone. I'm Kelly Ginnelsberger. I'm a Partner Success Manager covering the Mid-Atlantic. And today I've got Chris Bain, my Solutions Architect, with me. Chris, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, my name's Chris Bain. I've been doing backup and recovery and disaster preparedness for about 20 years now. So hopefully I can bring some of that wisdom to you guys now through a couple different stories in today's webinar.
Thanks, Chris. So we'll go ahead and get started here. And guys, I do want to remind you, we are going to have a one-question quiz at the end of the webinar for a $25 Amazon gift card. So make sure to stay tuned for that. So guys, I just want to start from the top. I believe most of you have worked with us before, but I never want to assume that you guys know these things. So just kind of a high-level overview of Infrascale. So we've been around a little over 10 years. We currently work with over 1,000 partners. We are protecting over 500 petabytes of data across 15 global data centers and working with over 50,000 end customers. We are 100% channel focused. So we do work with our channel partners and leverage them heavily. We do have 3 products that I'm going to skim through here in just a second. But the mission of all 3 of those is to help our partners and customers eradicate downtime and data loss. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Gartner. We've been highlighted by Gartner over the last couple years, most recently as a leader in their DRaaS Magic Quadrant in 2017. All right. So guys, I'm going to keep it light here, just skim over these 3 products, and then I'm going to turn it over to Chris to take us into the console and see some live demos here. So like I said, we've got 3 products: Cloud Application Backup, which is meant for those cloud-based applications that you can see there: Office 365, G Suite, OneDrive, SharePoint. Microsoft and Google only allow you to recover the past 30 days of information. Salesforce, I believe is 15. So if your clients have needs to recover data past that, this is a tool that can help them. Disaster Recovery as a Service, or DRaaS, as I like to call it, to save a couple words a day, is our appliance to cloud solution. So that is going to be for those critical servers and applications that just cannot afford to go down. We've got a 15-minute uptime guarantee on that. So you can recover servers locally or in the cloud. You've got unlimited version history in the cloud. You can test that as often as you would like. There's no paperwork. There's no notice you have to give us. Feel free to just do that. Even if you have to fail over, you can just do that. It doesn't cost you extra to run out of our cloud if you do have a disaster and need to do so. That is licensed per protected terabyte per month. And it is now in a 1-year subscription as of about 2 weeks ago. Traditionally, that's been a 3-year subscription. So if you have more questions about that, feel free to get with me after the call or your respective partner success manager. Lastly, cloud backup. So this is what we're here to talk to you about today. That is our direct to cloud offering. That's going to be for those endpoints, laptops, desktops, tablets, even mobile devices. That's going to help you recover files at the file and folder level. Those are things, maybe you can afford to be without them for a few hours or even a few days. If your clients have things that need to be up absolutely immediately, has a major impact to business, that would be more disaster recovery as a service. Cloud backup is also licensed per protected terabyte per month. We do also have 1- and 3-year subscriptions available. And then we've also got a bare metal restore option as well. And I know Chris is going to talk about that more here in a second. All right, now I'm going to read the full slide. No, I'm definitely not. I just wanted to give you guys a high-level overview of the regulations we help you comply with. So this is definitely an eye chart, but if you've got specific regulations that you would need to comply with for your clients, just want to let you know a little laundry list here of the ones that we can help you out with. And I will make sure all of you get a copy of this slide deck in case you'd like to read through this with more detail. All right, and lastly for me, so I talked about the 3 products that Infrascale has. All 3 of those are out of one single dashboard that Chris is going to take us through in a second. Another thing I'm going to throw out there that we didn't mention on this call is that we do integrate with ConnectWise Manage and ConnectWise Automate. So if those are things that you're currently using, just know that we do integrate with those tools. Chris, I'll pass it over to you.
All righty, thank you, Kelly. So let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at, well, we'll go ahead and start out with our first. So much a smashed laptop like this, but it was a destroyed laptop. The VP was getting ready to go up to corporate. He was going to present for the board of directors. And, he had his presentation ready, and he kept going through it and practicing it. And while he was on the plane, he had his laptop open, and he was going through and practicing his presentation. And the stewardess leaned over to hand a glass of water to the guy next to him and ended up pouring the entire glass of water into his laptop. So his laptop was completely done. It wouldn't turn back on. We tried, drying it out and everything, but we needed to get that presentation back up for him. So we have a couple of different options with Infrascale on how we can get you that information. So the first way I want to look at doing it is we can actually go out and we can recover the information via the cloud. So if we know the particular user and we know his information that we need to get back from him, we can go in here and we can look at the backup accounts. We can find that specific user, and then we can log in as that backup account, and that's going to give us the ability to go in and actually see all their files, help them recover them. We can download them locally via the web browser. So here we can see the specific user. We're only seeing information for them for the total amount of data that they have, who they are, who their email address is. Again, you can access this from any machine. You can see the different backups, successful and non-successful, where the last time their physical device was seen. But we can also go up here to cloud data, and we can click into that. And that's going to let us go into their devices and easily be able to navigate and find any of that information that we might want to recover for them. So again, we can go in either this way and drill out and find it, or if we know that it's a PowerPoint, we could from the front one be able to do a search like a star.ppt and be able to find it that way. Now this works great to be able to get back that PowerPoint that you need. So we can, again, either download it here, we can remote recover it, which means push it back to that device, but in this case, that device is no longer available, or we can delete it. So that's kind of the fast, easy way to get the information back for that particular user so that they can get through that PowerPoint presentation. But what about when he gets back to the office? His laptop's dead, we need to be able to recover it. For that, we would use an option that we call bare metal recovery. Now, what bare metal recovery allows us to do is to take a full image of that machine. So if we look at our client here, we can do a bare metal recovery. And what that's going to do is, again, it's going to take a full image of this machine, so everything about it. That way, when we recover it to any piece of hardware, it doesn't have to be the same laptop. It's going to put everything exactly back where it was, everything from the bookmarks to what was on their desktop to all of their information, all their applications, all of that's going to get recovered. So to set up bare metal recovery, it's really simple. We just come in here and we pick the volume we want to protect. We pick the location we want to protect it. So here I'm going to a different local drive, but we could also put it out to a file share if we wanted to. Over here, we configure how frequently we want to do the full backups and the incremental backups, and at what time we want to do those backups. Now here we can also pick how long we want to keep those backups. Now, I don't typically upload my bare metal backups to the cloud, but we do have that option, so you would just simply uncheck this, and then it would automatically, when it's done with that backup, replicate that backup up to our cloud servers. That way, if you lost your local site and the device and everything else, you'd still be able to get a copy of it back. So the second scary thing to talk about today is the new trend of basically encrypting laptops and charging people to get the key to be able to get their laptop re-unlocked. I'm actually impressed that at this point, no one in my family has contacted me to help them recover any of their computers from this. When you're in IT, you're always becoming the family support guy for all of their problems. But I have had customers out there that have ran into this and got their machines locked up. And if you don't have the right solution protecting them, your only option is really to be able to pay to get that data back. Now, with our cloud backup, we're protecting you in a couple of different ways because we're not just putting it on a local share or a NAS device. So if a Cryptolocker gets in, it's not going to be able to encrypt the backup copies of the data. Even if it encrypts what's on your laptop and you push those encrypted updates up to the cloud, that's just going to be stored as a version. So that's not going to replace those older versions, and we can always roll back to that point in time. Now, we can also do something here in our dashboard where we can help you to protect your customers against their computers being compromised. And we've actually won some awards for this. It was on one of the earlier slides that Kelly was showing off. But we can go in here and we can go into monitoring. And underneath monitoring, we have the ability to enable what we call an anomaly detection. So what this is going to do is it's going to look at the behavior of the laptop and the files on the laptop and see if any of those behaviors have drastically changed. So if Kelly regularly updates 20 to 30 files a day and then one day she updates 200 to 300 files, it's going to send us an alert and say, hey, we think there's a potential that this machine's been compromised. So, how nice would it be to be able to know when the infection came in and started doing its work, so you know at what point you need to roll back to get good copies of all that data. Now we can look for changed files, and we can also look for the creation of new files. Because they've gotten a little bit smarter with this ransomware, they do a couple different behaviors. We can also look for known files that are associated with ransomware. Now the last thing that we can help protect you from is what if you have a device get stolen? I consider myself to be a fairly paranoid person. I always keep my laptop with me. I carry it on the plane. I never check it. I bring it in the taxi cab with me. I don't even throw it in the back of the cab with the Uber. But I actually did once have a laptop stolen from me. It was actually at our corporate Christmas party in New York, not this company, but a previous company. And they took all of our bags and put them in a protected area, but it ended up 10 of us had our laptops stolen at that Christmas event. So a couple things about having something stolen is, well, it's still got a copy of your data on it. So you might want to make sure that if they manage to get into that box, maybe you don't have it BitLocker, so you don't have the drive encrypted. You don't want them to be able to take out that hard drive and get to that data. So we can also help you with that. You can go in here and say Manage Devices. And then any of the devices that we're protecting, we can come in and we can wipe that device. So what this allows us to do is we can either wipe the data that's on that particular device, or we can wipe the entire device, which is going to wipe all of the data first, and then it's going to start erasing all of the file system and applications until eventually it blue screens and is no longer bootable. Now, if you just click on this, it is going to ask you to verify, so it doesn't just immediately go out and wipe the device and take it out of play, but it does give you that ability to do that if it is something that you need to do because the device has come up missing. Now that's my 3 quick little stories that I wanted to give. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Kelly.
Thanks, Chris. All right. So we're going to do a quick quiz, and then I'm going to open it up for Q&A. I did get a couple of questions in the chat, but I'll ask those in a second, and then you guys are free to unmute as well if you'd like to ask Chris to see something in particular or just a question. All right, so for our quiz, and the way we're going to do this, and I'm actually going to put my email address for you guys in the chat, so that way it's easy for you to email me, because that's how we're going to put that in. All right. There we go. There's my email address. So we'll do it, the first person to email me the answer, and I will mail you a $25 Amazon gift card. Okay. Specifically, how does Infrascale Cloud Backup address ransomware? I'll say it again. Specifically, how does Infrascale Cloud Backup address ransomware? So shoot that to me via email, and I'll be emailing someone a gift card. So let's move to Q&A. Chris? So one of the questions that I got is, what happens if you go over your storage quota? Let's say, hypothetically, you're licensed for 4 terabytes, and you know, the data is creeping, going up. I think it's, you know, a pretty normal thing these days, just data increasing pretty regularly. We usually see 15 to 30% year over year. We don't just drop you. We're not going to delete anything. We'll just continue to back that up, and you know, I would give you a call and say, hey, you know, we noticed last month that you're creeping over that terabyte threshold that you're licensed for, you know, and we would ask you to either, you know, help get it back down to what you're licensed for, or just ask you to do an upgrade for us, so that way you're licensed appropriately. And then the next question is, can we upload the bare metal recovery to the cloud? And Chris, I'll let you take that one.
Sure, absolutely. So we can upload it to the cloud. However, again, you know, it's one of those things where I don't typically do it, because in order for you to need that, you would have to lost the device, lost the backup that's on whatever device you were copying that bare metal recovery to, and then the backup of whatever is backing up that device you would have had to have lost. So I don't typically do it, but you know, if you had a remote user, you know, it might be a good idea to go ahead and upload it to the cloud. So that's always an option. It's just one that I don't typically use myself.
Excellent. Thanks, Chris. And those were the only questions that I saw come through the chat. I did see that Carl wrote checks anomalies for the answer to our quiz. And yes, that is correct, Carl. So thank you so much. I am going to send you the $25 gift card. I will get your address after this call. So thanks to those of you that participated in that. So Chris, let's go ahead and open it up if anyone else has a question. Guys, I've got all of you muted. If you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself there in the GoToMeetings, and you can ask Chris. And Chris, I don't want to sign you up for more than you're prepared for here, but if someone wants to see something specific here in the console, are you able to show that? I know we've got 9 minutes left.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And one thing I'm going to do while we're waiting for people to either put in questions or and unmute themselves is I'll go ahead and show you kind of what it looks like when we're looking for those backup anomalies. So we would come in here to that centralized GUI that, again, reports across all of our different products. And under Event, we can pick up Backup Anomaly and hit OK. And that's going to go out and that's going to show us all the different ones that we have. And then we're able to actually drill into those and see what specifically was going on. So we can see that on this particular date and time, I had a 212% rate of change for files. So something massive happened to my laptop. You know, it might have done an optimization. I might have installed some new applications, but it's letting me know on that date that rate of change was outside of the normal rate of change that it would expect to see from me. Now, does anyone have any questions?
I haven't seen any come through chat. We'll give everybody one last chance if you want to unmute yourself and ask to see something in particular or ask Chris a question. All right. Well, it looks like we're going to give everybody 8 minutes back in your day. Thank you, Chris, so much for taking us through the console here and giving us a demo. And thank you so much to everyone who joined. We really appreciate your time. And as always, feel free to reach out to myself or Chris if you have questions, but I will send a follow-up email with a copy of the slide deck and also a link to the recording. Actually, if you'd like a link to the recording, just as it's so large, I'm going to throw it up on OneDrive. If you just let me know, that way I can make sure you have the link and give you access to that. All right, everyone, thanks so much. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.